And right now, before we talk with Joe and Steve, we're going to see a wonderful piece about the 50th anniversary over at Regina Cleri. Kate Andrews went over, and she's going to tell us all about it. Let's take a look.
Regina Cleri celebrated its 50th anniversary on June 5th. The facility in Boston is a home for older archdiocesan priests who may need a little help getting around. But don't call it a retirement home.
Being here has been wonderful because I've taken on a new ministry. I work with disabled people over at Simon of Cyrene Society once a month. I also work with the Commonwealth for the Aged and Infirm at St. Patrick's Manor in Framingham. I also give spiritual direction to several priests, religious, and lay people. I probably see about 15 people over a month's period of time. So although I am retired, I am still very active.
Father Joseph Fagan was one of the 55 resident priests that celebrated the Golden Event, along with Cardinal Sean O'Malley and new Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, who spoke about how his childhood parish helped him become the man he is today.
Say thank you to the retired priests that are here. You know, I ran for mayor this year, and you think about how you get shaped as a person. And I give a lot of credit for me being shaped as a person to my parish.
The residents of Regina Cleri dined with archdiocesan staff and Boston VIPs, who all came to celebrate the anniversary with a party.
And what's a party without cake? Montilio's Bakery, a famous bakery in Boston, made this special cake in honor of the 50th anniversary of Regina Cleri. It's an exact replica of the building, from the windows and balconies down to the topiaries and statues outside.
Cardinal Sean began the evening's festivities with a mass in the facility's private chapel. He then blessed the building's cornerstone, which had never actually been placed during construction, and greeted all of his brother priests who call Regina Cleri home. He said the residence is a way for the people of the Archdiocese of Boston to show their appreciation for the service of our priests.
Our people are very grateful for the ministry of our priests who have given their whole lives to the spiritual care of our parishioners. And so people do see this as a way of giving back and of saying thanks.
And just because some may not run a parish anymore, the men of Regina Cleri have obviously adopted the Latin phrase above the chapel's altar as their motto, Tu es sacerdos in aeternum, which means you are a priest forever. Joe DeRigo, the executive director of the Clergy Friends, which aids older priests, said he sees this brought to life every day at Regina Cleri.
Right when I come here for staff meetings in the morning, go to the 8:30 Mass, and you see these men who have 50, 60s, you heard 74 years of priesthood, all celebrating the Eucharist together. And even though they can't stand, even though they may be, you may have memory issues, there's never a memory issue when it comes to the Eucharist.
The big secret, I think, to a happy life is serving. So I love just serving people, helping them, and helping myself to get closer to God.
Monsignor James Tierney served as executive director of Regina Cleri from 1990 to 2009 and then became a resident. He recalled one of the more memorable characters that walked the halls of Regina Cleri.
We had a priest here once who, when he was in his middle 90s, sold his car to his former secretary because they wouldn't let him drive anymore. But one of the conditions of the sale was that she would come down and pick him up every weekend so he could go back to his parish and help out.
Right now, there is no other place for them to live. And, you know, one thing about a priest is that he doesn't have a family to take care of him. It's harder for the priest out there in the parishes to take care of a senior man. So that's why it's important to have a Regina Cleri.
One thing is for sure, the priests of Regina Cleri are loving their senior years.
Very grateful to God that we have Regina Cleri.
For Catholic TV, I'm Kate Andrews.
Kate, thank you very much, and Chaz for going down there and bringing that into your home. And joining us now are Steve Gust and Joe DeRigo, who are going to talk about the 50th anniversary of Regina Cleri. And it's a wonderful place. Guys, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Jay.
Steve, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about Regina Cleri.
Regina Cleri was founded by Cardinal Cushing about 50 years ago this year. And the purpose that he founded it for was he wanted to continue the vocation of the priesthood. He found that priests and their senior priests, when they were senior priests, weren't being involved in their vocation as much. So Regina Cleri was purposely founded to continue that vocation. And it's changed dramatically over the years. It's much more involved in we age in place, and today we have more 90-year-olds than we've ever had in the history of Regina Cleri.
Yeah, and Joe, if you could, as a priest gets to that retirement stage or senior stage in their priestly ministry, what are some of the financial considerations that a parish might have or consider?
Well, I don't think it's the parish having a financial consideration. The clergy funds is responsible for the care of all our priests, and be that be active priests or senior priests. So we're responsible for their medical care and their retirement stipend and housing. So the clergy fund supports Regina Cleri. It's not a specific financial care of the parish, although our funding comes from the three collections, Christmas, Easter, and the September collection. Our main focus for the clergy funds in Regina Cleri really is the health of our priests and the quality of their lives. And we're all about improving their health and the quality of their lives. I mean, we do it throughout the clergy funds, but we also do it at Regina Cleri also. I mean, so I think what you see is the vibrancy of Regina today is really the vibrancy of the quality of life. When you visit there, you can feel it. You talk to the guys, you go to Mass, and you just feel, it's a fun place. I mean, my staff, myself, we try and go to Regina at least once every 2 weeks and go to the 8 o'clock Mass because we come out with that vibrancy and are charged up again. And it's not only, Regina is the senior priest, but it's also, we have respite rooms there for our active priests who may have had, a hip replacement, a knee replacement, a heart valve replacement, and they can't go back to the rectory. So they go to Regina for respite, and maybe a month, maybe 2 months, so they can go back into active ministry. And that adds to, what I would call the brotherhood. I mean, what really you feel there is call it a residence, but it's a home. Yeah. It's a home of brothers who get together, and like any brothers, you don't want to be the object of the dinner table talk.
You know what? I'm listening to you, Joe, and I'm thinking of these guys, and we're talking about some of these guys have been there 70 years, or been a priest for 70 years rather, or 50 years. Don't we, as the lay people who are in those parishes, have an obligation and a responsibility to say to these guys who've done so much for us over the years, giving us the sacraments, hey, listen, you've been there for us, we need to be there for you?
I would hope so. I mean, part of what we try and do, part of what this program is educating the folks. I mean, after we showed the video of Regina Cleri, we started getting email messages from folks saying, oh, Father so-and-so is at Regina. Can you tell me how I can contact him? People lose track of their parish priest, and when they find out in Regina, they want to go. One way to support them is go visit them. And yeah, the financial support is important also, and we hope just through education, people feel that connection and say, yeah, I want to continue to support somebody who meant so much in my life. Go visit them. Go to Mass there. I mean, it'll be an altering event for your own faith when you go, when you see a priest who is 72 years a priest, still active and still sharp. Sit down and have breakfast with them and talk about what it was like to become a priest 72 years ago. I mean, the history of the diocese is resonant at Regina Cleri. The average age of a priest is 87 years old. You think about that, that's amazing. 2,900 years of priesthood reside there. I mean, you think about that and you get blown away. And just go in one day and ask a priest, what was your first assignment? And they'll talk about going to Westwood and seeing cows, right? Going up a dirt road to what now is a vibrant community. And it's just fun. And the great stories about Cardinal Cushing and their first assignment or the second assignment
a vibrant place. And so we hope people whose lives were touched will continue to support it.
Steve, what's it like? We got a little taste of it there too, but talk about the atmosphere every day, and you know, what's it like being there for the priest and being able to have a place like Regina?
Well, one of the things that's wonderful is that they are humans and they have the same bad days and good days like we do as lay people. But one of the beautiful things is that it is a fraternal organization. It's a fraternal organization. These men have known each other their entire lives. We had one individual who lived on our second floor, and his next door neighbor lived across the street from him when he was a kid. And they both joined the priesthood. They both knew each other. They were both at St. John's Seminary together, and did their own active ministry throughout their lives, but came back to Regina Cleri, came together, and there they were living together once again, one on one side, the other one on the other street. But this time it was a floor. It was just a hallway that crossed them. And those are the great stories that you hear day in, day out. It's just a wonderful celebration of what they've accomplished in their lives. You know, Joe says 2,800 years, and that just continues to go up because, again, one of the things that's unique about Regina Cleri, like any long-term care facility, is their aging in place. You know, we're blessed to be sitting in probably the capital of the medical community here in Boston and the West End with Mass General Hospital. There are probably more doctors per square foot around Regina Cleri than the country. And that has been helping, you know, to continue their aging and also for them to be able to continue their vocation.
Well, Joe, we're running out of time. How can people support Regina Cleri?
Oh, that's simple.
Yeah, we like them simple.
The simple is a check. Prayers are important. Checks are equally important. You know, Regina Cleri, the clergy funds has a budget of about $16.5 million a year to support our priests on an ongoing basis, just to break even. Regina Cleri is about $2.5 million a year ongoing expense. So checks are always welcome. And that's how you can support. Your prayers are welcome. As I said, we will be looking at expanding capacity at Regina. The Cardinals asked to look at that because we have a waiting list. And so any help that folks can give us is very much appreciated.
And send it to the Clergy Fund in the Archdiocese.
Send it to the Clergy Fund or to Regina Cleri. We all
right to
one.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being with us. Again, huge fan of Regina Cleri, and thank you for the work you put in. And thank you to all of you priests. I hope they're watching Regina Cleri, what you have done in all the priests in the Archdiocese and in the country and in the world.